What's up, YouTube? Jay Travelini here. Today I finally have my 3060 Ti on my test bench so I can see what overclocks I can get and what hash rates I can get. I tweaked it a little bit and I'll talk about the tweaks I have and overclocks I'm using right now. I do have it on Phoenix Miner 15.4C. As you can see, driver versions 457.51. I have read a few things of people tell me to dial back the driver, but I'm going to leave it on here just for this video and we'll see what we can do. So right now I'm at 59.9 mega hash a second, so almost at that 60 mega hash a second. As you can see, it hit 60 there. That's the first time I think I've seen it in the couple of minutes that it's been running. I have had this on my test bench for about a day now, and I had it running on NiceHash. As you can see it on my computer here. You can see it on the computer here, but I did have this on NiceHash, but I was getting a lot of rejected and stale shares. So I switched it to Phoenix Miner and set that up and just let it run on its own. I don't know if it's a pull issue or if it was an overclock issue, but I had these overclocks up slightly higher. And with this card, it was a little different than my 10 series cards. My 10 series cards actually reacted to me changing my core clock up a little bit. But this one I actually dialed it back and it didn't change my hash rates at all, which is what most other miners say would happen. You can dial the core clock back a little bit, save yourself some energy, some heat, and some efficiency. And it won't hurt your mega hash. But we've been running for about 4 minutes here and we got one accepted share. I really want to see this thing running for a little while, maybe overnight, and see if I can get a slightly higher overclock and get this at the, like, you know, that 60 to 61 mega hash a second without getting a bunch of rejected and stale shares. Now, I know rejected and stale shares are going to happen every once in a while, but the amount I was getting was a little too high. I had, at one point, I wasn't even getting any accepted shares. They were just all being over here, and they were all stale or rejected. I think even my stale shares were much higher than my accepted shares when I was on NiceHash. Now, NiceHash has been pretty successful for me on other rigs. I didn't have those issues, but it could just possibly be that these cards, since it's a 3060 Ti, it's pretty new. I know it's only been out for like a month or so, so it's possible that some of these mining softwares are still trying to figure them out. I'm not sure, but let's let this run for a little bit and we'll see if we get any stale rejected or if they just are all accepted. After about 17 minutes of mining, we have 15 accepted shares, no rejected, no stale. I'll at about 60 mega hash a second. So what I'm wondering is if this one, since on NiceHash I was using the same Phoenix Miner. According to what they were saying, it was the same Phoenix Miner according to their update. So I don't know why this one exactly is getting more accepted shares. Not more accepted shares, but a better rate of them. Because these are the same overclocks I was using while I was on NiceHash. But I mean, if that's the case, I'll just leave it on this one. I am on a different pool. I'm not on a NiceHash pool. So I'm wondering if it's possible that because I was on a NiceHash pool that I was getting so many rejected shares. Now, a way you can get a rejected or stale share is that either it's a duplicate share that's trying to report or it's just an invalid one. Another reason that you could get them is bad overclocks, which is what I thought I had at first. But looking at this now, I don't have anything stale or rejected. But while I was using the NiceHash app, I mean, I call it an app, but I mean the miner, it would put me onto the NiceHash pools, obviously, because it's theirs, and that's how they make their money. But now you see I have 16 accepted. So I'm going to try and up the overclock slightly. I'm going to go back up to 1200, which I was at before on my memory, and leave this at negative 150. We'll put that in and we'll see if we start getting rejected or stale shares. It's possible that I don't, and I can just leave it there because it was running pretty. My rig, my test bench wasn't crashing at all when I had it up this high. And I was sitting just where we're at here, 61.4 mega hash a second. Now this is still sitting at 120 watts at the card according to software. I did forget to plug my watt meter in. I'm going to have to just get one to leave on my test bench so that when I do test cards, I can get, true watts at the wall. I know, and I'll check again real quick while I'm letting this mine. I know that earlier today my trip light was not even reading 1 amp. So that leads me to believe that the power consumption is still fairly low. But I would think that with the motherboard also we would be about 180 watts, which would still equal over 1 amp. So I'll check that while I let this mine for a little bit and see if we get any rejected or stale shares. It's been running for a few more minutes now. Still no rejected shares, still at 61.529. Now you have to remember also that Phoenix Miner, from what I understand, inflates the hash rates a little bit. But still 61.528, and we're at 1200 memory and negative 150. So we're still reading 120 watts at the card. From my experience with NVIDIA cards, the software is pretty damn close. So I do trust this as far as that's what it is. I also updated my GPU Z, and this is reading 120 watts at the card also. So I'm going to actually up the overclock a little bit more. So 1250 is from when I researched a lot of miners are mining at. So I'm going to hit 1250, and then I'm going to let it mine there and see what I achieve. So until I start getting rejected shares, I might try and even bump this up to 1300 on the memory. One thing I really like is 52C. I mean, my office is pretty cool where my test bench is, but 42C has been very cool. It's obviously my coolest card. Then again, we have to think this also has 3 fans on it. It is the ASUS TUF one. It has 3 fans on it, and it's also a brand new card that I got right off the shelf at Micro Center. So I got to take that into consideration when I'm saying it's running that cool. Most of my other cards I bought used. My 5600 XTs I bought brand new actually, and they didn't run this cool according to the softwares. So I'm pretty happy with how this card's running so far. I'm not as happy with NiceHash for all the rejected and stale shares, but if Phoenix Miner, using just Phoenix Miner makes this so I don't get that, that'll be obviously make this probably my favorite card that I own so far. So we're sitting at just under 62 mega hash a second. So we'll let this run a little bit, and I'm going to see where it is in about 5-10 minutes. It's been running a little bit longer. 32 accepted shares, 0 stale, 0 invalid, 0 rejected. So I'm going to up it just a tiny bit. I'm going to go in 25 increments. I'm going to do 1275. I'm pretty happy with where it's at. So what I want to see is if either one, I crash the rig, or it just accepts it. So I'm going to let this mine a little bit and see what happens. I'm at 62 mega hash a second according to software, and I'm still sitting at 120 watts. I was thinking about lowering my core a little bit. I'm going to leave it where it's at right now because I don't think it's really hurting anything. If this gets unstable or something, maybe I'll try lowering that a little bit instead of the memory. But if it runs at this, I really don't want to push it much past 13 on the memory. 1300, that is. So I'm going to let and see what happens here. Let this mine for a little bit, see if my rig crashes, or if, I have had Afterburner start acting all funky and wonky before because I was pushing cards too hard. So we'll see what happens. We'll see where we're at with this. But if I can keep 62 mega hash a second stable, then I'm going to be pretty happy with that. Still going strong with the 3060 Ti. So we're looking at 62 mega hash a second right now. Getting pretty excited over here. I don't know if you probably heard I was rubbing my hands together, just hoping that 1300 holds. So If this holds this overclock, I'm probably just going to leave it there. So we'll see where it goes up to. 62.55. So I'm going to have to let this mine for a little while, but it's looking pretty good right now. The rig doesn't seem to be, bogging down at all. The afterburner seems to be working still. So 62.3 mega hash a second. So let's give it a few minutes, see what happens. It's been running for a few more minutes now. We're still getting about 62.3 mega hash a second. 44 accepted shares. It's reporting 0 rejected, 0 stale, but when I checked the ethermine website for my poll, it did report 1 stale share, which I'm still pretty happy with. I'll keep an eye on it though, because if I'm getting too many stale shares, I will dial back the overclock. I'm going to leave it at the plus 1300 now. I'm very happy with 62 mega hash a second coming out of it, especially at 120 watts. I would not be surprised if I'm buying more of these graphics cards to build a 6 card or 8 card rig. My P106 100s, I am thinking of retiring and selling them to upgrade to newer cards, and you might possibly see me replacing them with these, but I'm not sure. I might keep the P106 100s and just build another rig. I do like to hoard my graphics cards and keep them all, but right now, I'm very happy with this 3060 Ti. This is the ASUS TUF Edition, and I'll put a link in the description below where you can see the actual card that I'm using. If you guys watched my previous videos, you'll see me holding the box of it. But, thanks for checking this video out. Make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Make sure you turn that bell icon on so you can see all the latest videos when they come out. But I'll have more testing videos coming out as I can get graphics cards. I did end up picking up an RTX 3070, so I'll test that out. I picked it up for my friend, but hopefully he will agree to let me test it before I give it to him. But, thanks for checking it out. See you guys next time.